Ohayo gozaimasu. Ohayo. Kikoeru? Bit loud? Let me turn it down a little bit. Good morning. Need some lights. Is that too much? That's better. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are we all doing? There goes the morning hammer. Yeah, streaming. I'm sorry about Tuesday. I said I'd do a gorilla stream, and I will do a gorilla stream. We'll have another one at some point. Maybe today we'll have a bit of a long one to make up. Personal stuff. Had to take it off. How are we all doing? Today we are doing... Oh, let me get rid of that. Today we are doing some more tracing. I've got a bunch of progress done, but still got all the kanji in the top of the image. And I'm thinking as well, before I actually start carving this, I might work out a bunch of the more complicated colors you see here, the ones that have patterns. Well, I don't think I will need any more midaburi I might add. I just like to get everything worked out before I start carving. Some of the more simple ones I might leave for after, but I'd like to get a file done before I start. There's no real time frame or like rush on this, so if I can do it carefully, tidily, get everything worked out before I even start, that's probably the best for me to do. Because I will be going to I'll be going to the UK pretty soon actually. When am I going? Let me just check my calendar. So 1, 2, 3, just over 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks, I'll be going to the UK. And I am hopefully going to be seeing Capucine-san, and I'll be doing a little interview with her to take some footage. So actually, the more I can delay starting the carving on this, the more leeway I have to make alterations after looking at the original in person. So, but I think that's 3 weeks. I'm gonna probably have to start before. Please place it down and get going, which means I'll have to make any modifications on the block, which is not ideal. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how long the color separation takes. And I am getting some more work in. We can talk about that in a bit. But before that, let's switch over to the block. I can show you some of the progress I've done. So the samurai himself, he's basically all done. There's a bunch of touching up and stuff I have to do. But all the stuff you would have seen in that first stream, I basically retraced. I did it more accurately, and because of the tiling system I had before, I've reworked that a little bit. But he's looking kind of cool. It's getting there. The dark areas, you're seeing the stuff on the X's on the bottom of the armor and on the legs and the arms. These are on a black block, and I will need to input them onto the key lines, but there's a slight misregistration happening here. So I'm gonna, I traced all the black stuff on a separate layer, and then I'm gonna take it into the computer, sort of play around with the dimensions a little bit, and then I'll copy and paste that onto the key lines and then remove the lines I need, keep the lines I don't. That's how I'll be doing that. There's the head. Ooh, it takes a second to load sometimes. But yeah, it is getting there. Today we're going to work on some more kanji. I did the kanji in the bottom over here and the little inkans. Little bit of a, how much do I want to tidy up? Like these circles here. How much should I tidy these up? How much are they? Well, I think I'm going to keep them as they are. A little bit rough and messy, because these are supposed to be in imitations of like seals. They're carved onto the key blocks, but they're supposed to represent an actual seal going straight on from like an inkan. And often there's little jankiness in the way they print, so I'm going to keep the messiness. And I've also added in a couple of the corner pieces to denote the outside registration marks. This is where the border of the printed image will be, these little triangles in the corners. And I have some at the top as well. I'll use them to outline the color. There's actually only one color on the back, and I don't think it touches the top. I'll look at the copies a little bit closer, but I think probably they don't touch the top. Anyway, enough chat. Let's get into some tracing. I'm going to do some kanji, put everything in red, and switch this layer off. I'm going to get going. You can see how much we have left to go. These kanji take a little bit of time, so I'm sorry if there's a lot of rotating and stuff today as well. It might get a little bit jarring for you guys. If I can draw it neatly without spinning too much, I'll try and remember, but the way I work is I tend to spin and put my hand in a really nice angle so I can do the swoops. But I do know, I am aware that it doesn't look great on stream, the image spinning around so much. But we'll do our best. How is everyone? Let's get going. Oh, music. Hit it. I think that volume's okay. Maybe a bit loud. Level's okay, I think. Let's go. Tell you what, my finger's hurting a little bit today. I think I have a tendency to overgrip the stylus. I don't think I have it. I do have a tendency to overgrip the stylus. Oh, wrong tool. Also, they're the wrong colours. Hue, saturation, brightness. And the other one, hue, saturation, brightness. I keep everything right at the ends of the sliders, just so I have a consistency in the colour. You can't see all the sliders. They're a little bit off screen. But I keep them all there because in the past I used to just like select a colour. And occasionally I'd get like patches that are slightly different hues, so that when you put it into black, if you don't change all the brightness and blackness settings, then they appear slightly different. It's not a big point, but and also, yeah, I'll use the 50%. I'm playing around with different smoothers. 6. Lots of stuff I wanted to talk to you about on Tuesday night. Can I remember everything? I did start to write a memo just before I had to cancel, and I wrote one thing on it, and I never got to finish my memo, so we're going to test my memory to see if I can remember what happened this week. The days all sort of merge into one, you know, especially when you're just sitting here all day tracing. The only thing I really get up and do actively is I leave the house once a day to go swimming, and that's it. Oh, I also dropped my son, but there's no events like worth talking about with those activities. The kanji are kind of tricky to trace. Small variations sort of like have quite a big impact on the final sort of aesthetic of the brush. So instead of flicking back and forth for you, which I would do when I'm working on my own, flicking the white on, taking the red off, instead of doing that too much, I'm just going to finish one kanji and then flick back and forth a few times to see any areas that like the tips of the brush flick in the slightly wrong way, or parts I've missed, like misunderstood the way the brush is working. And then we can go back and touch up. So it's quite It's quite a lengthy process. So the one memo I do have is about calligraphy, and that is because I contacted a calligrapher. Don't get too excited because it didn't work out in the end. But I contacted the calligrapher. I'm working on some practice sheets. Have you translated into English? No, I haven't done that yet. No, these are all old kanji as well, so it'll take a little bit of time. I haven't done that yet. Good point. Maybe I guess ChatGPT is probably the best for something like this. I've heard reports that it's really good at. It's got better translations than even DeepL most of the time now. Google Translate is really useful, but it's like janky as hell in terms of the way it like actually does the Japanese. DeepL, it is another translator that really it rephrases things a lot, and sometimes it's really really good at rephrasing and like stuff like that. I find it cuts too much of the nuance out of the sentence sometimes. Like it'll restructure stuff so much that it'll like miss the subtle point, you know, the words you want to use to like emphasize what your point is. And Ayana was telling me that she's been using ChatGPT for translating stuff. So I might run it through there quickly to see. Did someone say practice sheets? Yes, yes, yes. I've got a couple printouts. These are like really early doors. They're some of the intermediate sheets. Because I've been asked a lot for practice sheets in the past. But I'm not allowed to give out Asuka Sensei's teaching materials. Those are like he had them commissioned or he had them made. Like those are all his lesson teaching materials. So it's not for me to hand them out. And I've asked him for some people in the past, like, is it okay if I just send them a copy of this so they can like trace over it? And he's like, no, please don't do that. Those are my teaching materials, which is completely fair. So now I tell people like, no, I'm sorry, I can't do anything of that. So I've started making my own, and I've tried to change them so that I'm not like stealing the stuff he created. There is one shape that I've basically used the same one, but I'm doing my own stuff. Let's take a quick look at this. How are we getting on? So the flicking back and forth like this is super helpful. Way too far. So yeah, I got some printouts that I can show you some rough working out I've done. My whittling is woeful, I require practice. Yeah, these are the ones I've got here are quite high level ones. Yeah, Spiegel, you should be able to pick up a few of these. The old kanjis, I believe, are more similar to a lot of the modern day Chinese ones. Although there was a big simplification of Chinese ones as well. I watched a video about the simplification of Chinese characters and how younger people are not really able to write very well anymore because just how quick the Chinese keyboard system is. Japanese is not as quick as that. It's quite a janky typing system, I think. The predictive thing, maybe it's just because I'm not that great in Japanese. The predictive thing never really works for me as well. I have to search through the list so much to get the right ones. So it's really slow for me. I'm sure if you're really good at it, you can do it quick, but I think the Chinese one is probably better for typing. But because of that, people like forgetting how to. There's like a particular word for forgetting how to write kanji. You're not learning Mandarin? I thought you were learning Mandarin. Are you learning Canton? But yeah, as part of this, making these practice sheets, one idea I had was some of the best practice you can do is just calligraphy, different calligraphy. And after the stream last time, I was talking about the different character styles, right? The three main ones, like the basic text. And I got the names wrong. Like Kyosho is the kind of blocky one. Gyosho is sort of semi-script, like they start to add the flicks and connect a few things. And then Sosho is the one where it's really calligraphic and a lot of the multiple dashes just become like a line. And a lot of my early training was just on like script. Most of them I think were from Buddhist textbooks, just like copy pasted onto some blocks. And there was a bunch of them that was like side by side the same character in Kyosho, Gyosho, and Sosho. And so I wanted to create something like that for people because compiling your own can be a little, well, if you want to do it, it's not super difficult, but it can be a little bit finicky if you don't really know what to look for. If you don't know the names of that, for example. You can just always grab any old calligraphy you see. If you're not selling it, it's okay to just like grab it, I think, and do it for practice because you're not really printing these blocks. These are just strictly for practice. So if you see any nice calligraphy on the web, I think it's fine to grab it. Paste it down and have a go. It's some of the best practice you can do. But I wanted to commission a calligrapher to get some really nice. I wrote a phrase and I was going to get that phrase written in Kaisho, Gyosho, Sosho, and then I was going to have another phrase in Tensho, which is sort of the script I was talking about before with the long lines, the ones that you see on the inkan. This is Tensho. Give me a second. This is Tensho. So I had another script. It was just basically like Icho Hanga Dento Mokahan, which is my personal thing in Japanese, the translation. Yeah. So I contacted a calligrapher. In hindsight, maybe I contacted someone who's too good because I thinking that like this would just be. I don't need them very big. I just need them scribbled on like a single sheet, just the three texts. And I thought it'd be a single sheet, so like whatever the price for a single sheet of calligraphy would be, I thought I'll take that hit. That's fine. But I got charged for them each separately, or I got quoted for them each separately, and it worked out over 100,000 yen. So I replied to them politely, like, "I'm really sorry. This is like a near free project. I'll give them away for free, or I'll just put them on my Patreon for like not very expensive, like a single purchase thing, kind of cheap, so people can like watch a video I do of me carving some of them and then practice them themselves. So I can't really afford to pay 100,000 yen just for one of the sheets, you know. So I said I'd contact her again when I'm doing a print. If I'm doing a print, which I will be in the future, some of my own designs, and I want some calligraphy in a cartouche or something, then I'll reach out to her again, and at that point I'll be able to swallow a hefty price like that, but not on this project, not on the amount I'm going to sell and or give away for free, you know. So we might end up with a Shodo stream at some point because I'll probably have to do that myself. The first carving I did for practice was actual lettering style. I copied from my own style based on 60s rock band art posters I've collected. I do plan on practicing Hanzi in the future. Nice. Yeah, practice. I encourage everyone, like it's fun to jump into a print, and I jumped into a print first. When you do your first print and realize that, wow, there is a long way to go, sit down, do some practice blocks, like study the fundamentals a bit. And when you go back to make another print, your print will be so much nicer. Lettering as well, you're talking about. I am going to contact Letterboy. He's a, what do you call him, sign writer here in Tokyo that I've met and spoke to a little bit. I have commissioned him to do like I maybe I talked about this before, but I want a frame up here with Ginko Hanga in sign writing, just on the glass. It's a little bit out of my budget at the moment. Well, so when I get a bit more money, I can get that commission, but I do really want that done. The idea is to like work with a bunch of I love handmade things. I love people who are like working at really high levels. Shokunin basically. I like craftspeople. And I want to support those people because I like what they're doing. The only problem is my own financial situation. It could be better. I need to be selling more of my own prints, I think. And then I can, all these ideas I have can then be financed much easier. But when you're giving a bunch of the stuff away for free, it's a little heavy on the wallet. It's really not very interesting to watch, is it? All you're seeing is like little bits shaved here and there and added. I'll try and do a bunch of the touch-ups off stream. We'll just block in some letters for now, I think. Actually, I can. You should all follow this calligrapher. She's really great. Let me just get her link. How do we copy? Copy profile URL. Her name's Masako. It also did get me thinking that I chose the wrong artistic pursuit, Hontoni. I was thinking this a while back when I made a print for my little sister. I think I even mentioned in the YouTube video I made about it. I think it's called Sparrows, that video. That if you're making like paintings or calligraphy or sign writing, like you can be done in like less than an hour, you can finish your work and you get about the same price that I do for doing months of work sometimes. Like this print, it's like nearly a month to just do the tracing, and then I got the same for doing the key block, and then there's another 2-3 weeks to do all the color blocks. You're paying for the skill that someone can do that in that period of time, obviously. Like I support paying artists what they're worth, like you're not just paying for the piece, you're paying for the institutional knowledge that they've like gathered. But my thoughts on it and what I can actually afford are very different. But I'd love to do more stuff like that in the future. I'm trying to branch out and like collaborate with interesting people making interesting visual stuff. I also updated my Photoshop. I've actually been paying this whole time I've been living in Japan on my UK Photoshop account, and it was such a nightmare to transfer over to a Japanese account and like maintain all my data. And the Adobe thing, the little window that pops up in the corner is the only way to contact them. And just so unhelpful. I've talked to people so many times to just transfer it over, but I really don't want to have to like mess up all my system. I did do a backup because I I was just going to do it manually because I had to update because I didn't have Illustrator on my original plan. And I've tried it maybe like 4 or 5 times, and always they just send a link and then they like leave the chat. And they don't answer any of the questions I ask them. They just like, yeah, this is what you do. Hello, Rika. Oh, Sensei Martian's raiding. Thank you. Wow, nice raid. Arigato. Welcome in. How's your walking going? Or are you driving today? I did catch a bit of your other stream. The stream the other day. Where were you? I think you were in a village that I've been to, you know. It's like a little small stop on the way. What was it called? I really can't remember the name of it. Like a little post town. I noticed one of the areas we were walking in, there's a bunch of like old shops. There's really not much to do there. But I recognised it immediately. He can't join the raid. Oh, that's fine. Well, Kurokabe. Yes, Kurokabe, that's it. I stopped there on the way back from somewhere. I think it was when we went to Shirumadake. Yeah. Does that make sense? Welcome in. Bunch of first-time chatters. Thank you. We are just... Maybe I should introduce myself. I am Taryn. I am a traditional Japanese woodblock printmaker. And the first stage of making a print before you can carve it, it's frozen. Classic. The iPad's just frozen. Before you can make a print, you need to trace and outline all the lines you want to carve. It has fully frozen. It'll come back in a second, hopefully, if we leave it. The sides are working, I just can't make any of the letters visible or invisible. Before you get carving, you need to trace all the lines. The first block that we need to carve is the key block, which is all the black lines. And that's what I'm doing now. I finished the character. If I could untoggle the visibility on these layers, we could look at it better. But it's really not doing it for some reason. Give me a second. Let me switch over to a different screen. Let's just do this, and I can try and close this and open it again. Let me just reload it. Near Lake Biwa. Was it near Lake Biwa? That doesn't really make sense if I was in Nagano, does it? So maybe it wasn't the same place. A lot of them look the same, to be fair. But it does sound familiar. Kurokabe. I'd have to ask Ayano. But I'm pretty sure that was it. It looked identical to the place I went anyway. Right, hopefully we can do it now. Yes, thank you. Yeah, so this is what we've done so far. And I've just got to finish up all these calligraphy, and then we can get carving. These hairs are kind of fine. I'm going to have to focus up doing these. This won't be carved on stream. I'll be in a quiet place, dark, bright room. I was going to say dark room there, but that would make the carving significantly more difficult. So just these calligraphy left to do. Let's get tracing. How was everyone doing? Where was he walking today? Any estimation on the number of color blocks? We can do an estimation together. I did at some point. I put these out at one point. This isn't a complete list, but I just wanted to estimate how many there are. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'm guessing there'll be about 14. Tell you what, Chicken Mice is going to be proud of me. Let's do this. So, hopefully this should work. Does that work? Yay, I did it. I remembered the thing. Thank you for your help on that, sir. Look, we're growing. I didn't ask any of you for help then. What was I talking about? Oh, the Photoshop, yeah. So I went on it, I downloaded it, I backed up all my files like on a hard drive, and thinking that I was just going to have to do it manually and it was going to suck. I just have to cancel and make a new one. And just randomly, I got a really helpful person and they did it really quickly for me. And the full package, there's no like, it's really dumb. There's no package on Adobe that's just like Photoshop and AI, which are the two most common one if you're doing like any sort of graphic design stuff. Those are the ones you want. You've got a million other useless apps that no one ever uses and they're trying to promote. But like the main ones you want, if you want them, you have to buy them each separately, or you have to get the massive bundle that has every single Adobe thing on it. So I was a bit annoyed about. And I asked the person in the chat, like, well, I need these two. Is there any way we can do it? And they said, yeah, the best one is the one bundle with everything, which is more than double what I'm paying, what I was paying. I said, is there another cheaper one? And they said, we have a deal. Would you like to hear? Like, yes. And then silence for a long time. But in the end, they offered me, for the same price I'm paying now, just the full suite for no extra charge. So I'm super chuffed on that. Thank you so much for follows. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, Langstride's got it well. That's a nice deal, yeah. Would you like to hear a nice deal? I think it's because I've like been subscribed to it for a long time that she was able to offer me this deal. But yeah, I got the full suite, which I guess that includes, what's the editing one? The Adobe editing one. Master negotiate. Yeah, well, would you like to hear the deal? Yes, sure, thank you. Please tell me the deal. We can give you everything for the same price. Spot on. Would you like to do that? She tried to upsell me on some AI assistant thing, and it really wasn't that much more a month. I was like, no, thank you. I don't need that. But she was quite like every third comment was like, the AI assistant can really help you with this specific thing that you might be doing in the future. Like, no, I think I'm fine. Thank you. Premiere Pro, that's it. So maybe I can update my editing software. for making videos. I'm using DaVinci Resolve at the minute. It took a long time to like get fluid with that system. I wonder what the consensus is. Is it better to go to Premiere Pro? Or should I stick with DaVinci? I know the color editing stuff is really good on DaVinci, but honestly, for the level I'm doing, I don't think I need all that control. If you kept haggling, they would have ended up paying you. Haggle was literally just one sentence. I don't want to do that. Is there a better deal? Yes, there is. Fantastic. If you don't ask, you don't get. Maybe I should have used my haggling skills on the calligrapher as well. Zinzin. Adobe Steam sponsorship, yeah. Something just fell. I don't know. It's a problem for future turn. Force is strong. Is this still our first line we're on? Jesus, this takes ages, isn't it? It's really slow. And it's not done. I'll have to go back and redo, like, recheck a bunch of these lines as well. I really love this song. Di Giorgio Toro. I don't know how to pronounce that. Use Ginkgo for 10% discount. Not quite there yet. What do we think? Do we died? What do we think about the setup when we're doing tracing? I want to avoid doing tracing as much as possible. I think they're really not very visually interesting streams, but the current situation is I'm getting some blocks today, and so this is the work I have to get done. But if I have other work, then it'd be nice to do that on the stream more. Do some actual carving, you know. The Adobe channel on Twitch sponsors out this to stream on their stream. I don't think they'd go for that. I'm not going to promote the app too much. I'm furious with the app. I'd much prefer the interface drawing on Procreate. Back in the day, it used to run almost 24/7. Down for 6 hours at night. That's pretty. Wait, so they'd like host different creators? Is that what you're saying? Different people using their platform to to co-stream on their channel or something. Oh, cool. On the desktop with all the features, it's wonderful, but the app is garbage. I don't know if you can. Yeah, you can see it on screen. This little button here. Oh, you can't see when I press it, though, can you? Oh, yeah, you can. This little button here sucks. I hate it. It's awful. On Procreate, you can just double tap to switch the pen to the eraser. And it's so much more efficient than this awful little button. And there's also, you can't even draw straight lines on the app. There's no shapes, there's no lines, there's nothing. Have you considered doing tracing on PC with a drawing tablet? I have. And I used to, in fact, use a Wacom, a little tablet. It wasn't a very good one. It's one I got given for free a little while ago. But when I got the iPad, it was probably because my Wacom was really old. But the upgrade I got from the iPad was just it was so much better. I have a couple times now used the PC and like used this as a screen sharing device and drawn on the screen, but like using the desktop application. It's just so much faff, and I can do this like I've got a table down here that I stick up there so I can make it a standing desk, because otherwise I'm just sitting down all day. And I can do it on the train. It's changed my life. I really love the iPad. I just wish that they did at one point, and I had a ray of hope when I noticed that you can change the settings here. You can edit where is it? The input pen. No, I've got it on no action here. But if you double tap the pen, there is one that goes switch to last tool, which I thought, that's great. I'll use the eraser, use the pen, switch back to the eraser, click it again, switch back to the pen. But it only goes one way. It's the stupidest decision ever. It'd be so easy for them to code. Just like double tap to one tool, double tap it again, go back to the tool you were using. But it doesn't. It goes one way. So you end up just having to... It's awful. And then occasionally I'll just be like zooming out a little bit and I'll let my fingers go and it'll snap to the wide like this. I hate this app. I hate this app so much. The reason I use it over the Procreate though, especially on larger projects. On small projects mostly I do it on Procreate. But there's sometimes I need to like come in and check the sizes and like edit dimensions and put registration marks on and stuff like that. And that stuff is all obviously much better to do in Photoshop. There's no rules and guides and stuff on Procreate. So on smaller projects, I just like export them as PSD, then I put them in there, I change all of the dimensions, make sure everything's all true to scale and stuff, put in the registration marks, and then I print it off from there. But it's much nicer to actually do the drawing in Procreate. But the being able to close the app here and then open it on my desktop and like do stuff on the train and then flick it over here without like any, what do they call it in business? Problem points. Pain points. Pain points. Maybe I can show you things now. We're about the hour mark. Yeah, nearly there. Let me show you some of these. spin this camera down. Ooh. Careful, earthquake, earthquake. Maybe it's best to switch to... Nope, face. Yeah, so these are some of the ones I've been working on. I've been doing some kimono patterns. These are straight line practices. The idea for these is to do them without rotating the block, so you get to practice at all the different knife angles. I can't really zoom in. I don't have the app open. I wanted to test out which size of curved lines. There's a particular way you need to carve these, and it's really good practice. But these ones are way too small for even intermediate people. So I just got to remove every other line. These are the main one. I've done literally thousands of these ones. They're little squares with a circle and a dot in. And then just some kimono patterns. I want to change these. The values is all wrong, so I'll use a different pattern on a bunch of these. But I drew all these. I made another one. This is just all those little shapes. And the idea with this one is you cut it up. Instead of doing 2,500 of these little squares in one go, you just sort of you cut the portions you need and then paste them down. And then there's another one. Someone was mentioning about taking script from old posters, which is cool. There's another one which is going to be all in English script, hand painted. So there's some taste and stuff in them, but yeah. And then the other one will be calligraphy. And a couple others, but these are the 4 first ones I'll probably be releasing. Yeah, Chicken Meister G. Do you fancy doing 2,500 of these little 4mm squares? I've got a block here with some of them actually, because I took it out to check the sizes and stuff. This block doesn't have so many on them. I think that's about 500. So there's probably about 1,000 something on this block. You can't see it, can you? Some of them are a bit janky. This is quite early on in my carving. Sign me up. But yeah, some practice sheets coming to a shop near you. Oh, and also another update. Do you remember I was trying to show you like kimono patterns? Yeah, they're based on Japanese kimono patterns. Yeah. And a couple of them are just kimono patterns you often find in ukiyo prints. So as well as being technically good, they're like they come up in a lot of reproductions as well. I finally found this. There was a stream a while back when I was trying to talk to you about the sticker book, and I couldn't find it. Mine has got the cover. I misplaced the brand on the front here, but it's taken me until last night to find this. I can't believe it. I've been so angry at myself. So maybe I can show you this quickly. Ooh. So these are the new what do you call it? Descriptions. Where was it? I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Anyway, that's that. I don't want to talk about it. Something fell out. Yeah. It was another cover. I've got to make a couple more. They're all getting sent out at the end of September, along with the new sticker packs. So I think I've got another 5 I have to make. I have a bag of them here to send out, and perhaps it had gotten mixed up inside of here, and perhaps I checked through this multiple times. Passport book size, yeah. Perhaps I checked through it a bunch of times, and perhaps it had evaded my discovery every single one of those times. I thought I was losing my mind, you know. Perhaps. Let's get back to tracing. Done nothing. We only finished one line today. Like, it's embarrassing, you know. Customs gonna open it up. Suspicious size product. Oh, because it's a passport. You think? Hopefully not. Got a bunch of these are janky. It's a lot of touching up. Oh, I should have showed you while I was there. While we're doing this, before I get back into it, I did make a printout of. I did make a printout of the samurai. It's bigger than A4, so it's a little bit tricky to see. But just so you guys can get an actual visual on the scale we're working on here. This is 100% scale. Obviously, this is an A4 sheet of paper. I'll have to print it on an A3. And we get... I'll put my hand next to it. Let's get rid... Oh, I'm sorry, I dropped you. Let's get rid of samurai. Bye-bye. So here's my finger for scale. Wow, we need to get right up close onto this camera. I agree, it's going to be very cool. I'm very excited to make this. I think we've got some nice taste and stuff. If you look here, some Fude-like lines. Quite happy to have some of them come out. Well, obviously, I'll go through this whole once more, flicking on and off all over and like adjusting little things. But there's a sense of scale for you. Hours of carving there, yeah. I guess there's a lot of blank space on this print as well, you know. I'm guessing it's a solid month of carving, maybe a month and a half. Maybe 2. Depends what other work I have going alongside. If I get to just solidly focus on this and not do anything else, no distractions, I can get it done in like probably a month and a half, I guess. A month. I think I can do it in a month, but I'm not going to say a month because that'd be tight. Let me know if the music gets too loud. I notice some songs are a bit louder. Oh, we're on the wrong. Sorry. Let's square this up. Is it frozen? Why is it all sideways? Nande. I think the screen has frozen, hasn't it? Let me just unplug and replug. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, it's back. I think I knocked the cable there. Bye, Courtla. Thanks for stopping by. Come on. What time are we on now? No, 7. I need to do some more prep. Well, some more prep. Some prep for the UK trip. All things are going to be a little bit tight now, I think, because I've got... Well, I've still got to organise a bunch of stuff. Welcome in, Citron. And I got to find a hotel for London, or if I can stay at my mate's house. Maybe I should just do that. Anyway, I got to sort out some accommodation for the night before the flight. Because I need to go to London to visit the British Museum. I guess we'll do that. I live like 3.5 hours away on the train from London. So it's a little bit tricky getting to Heathrow the day of the flight and like doing everything we need to do in London. So we might need to stay a night down there. Does anyone have any experience flying with children? It's going to be rough, I think, He's a happy little boy, but it's like, it's still 14 hours in a cramped seat with a 1-year-old on your knee. It's going to be a lot. And because I live in the middle of let's not swear. I live in the middle of nowhere. Like, even after we get to London, it's an hour across London on the train, on the tube. And then it's from Euston, like 3.5 to 4 hours on the train. And then someone's got to pick me up from the station. Then it's an hour drive back to actual base camp for us. So how many hours is that? 14 hours for the flight. It's also an hour to get to Haneda. That's 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. It's best case scenario. It's like 21. Christchurch? I didn't say Christchurch. What about Christchurch? I'm from North Wales, so that's where we're going back to. Each time I go back to Wales, I realise just how much Welsh I've forgotten and it's been replaced. A bunch of like shorts and reels and stuff, whatever they're called, have been popping up with like Welsh content on my Instagram and YouTube. I think it's probably because I was watching some historical things on Wales recently. Just realised we finished that line. I just moved over to the side on. I thought I was on the same line there, working down. Maybe we can just fill these in now. Let me get the magic wand. I haven't touched them up enough. Give me a second. Hmm. The reason I'm doing these on separate layers is because when I show you the stuff with the black and white on, that's not actually how I'll be printing it. I'll change both the layers into black, and then I'll play around with the opacity on both of them. The outside lines, they'll be in 100% pure black, and then the inside lines will be some sort of grey, just so I can see the outline and the difference between the front and the back of the line a little bit clearer. I'm excited to get back to some carving, you know, some proper carving, not just ice ski work, but genuine, interesting key block style stuff. Like I said, Dave made the blocks on stream yesterday, I think. He said he'll get them smoothed down today and he'll send them home. And then the next 2 designs will be coming from Atelier, they said, in a couple days. So I'm just waiting on their designs. It's been a long ass time since their last design. It's meant I've got some good progress on the tracing, but that will be my last video, and I'm thinking that be my last print in the series, and I'm thinking I will be making a little video to close it out. You're doing number 11, right? Yeah, I got the odd numbers. I'm not really sure what the next design is. So that'll be my last one in the series. So I will have to make a video on that, but it won't be as long as the previous one. Maybe like probably a 15-minute video. I'm wondering if I can get that finished before I go to the UK. How many weeks did I say? I got 3.5 weeks. If it comes soon, I can get it done. And if it doesn't need a lot of revisions, there'll be some revisions, I guess, but maybe a bunch of those revisions can just be made with the knife on the block. I don't know if there's anything interesting to point out other than the black areas, which I've talked to you about before. There was something I wanted to talk to you about. Take a look at this. Take a look at this. Why haven't I drawn in these lines? These lines here. It's like an X over here, right? Maybe if I make the Let me just adjust the brightness. Why haven't I drawn in these lines? Does anyone know? If I remove the red lines, you'll be able to see they're the same color as the key lines. Why haven't I drawn them in? There's some more down here as well. This might give it away. There's some more here. Why are these not on the key block? Any answers? What's going on? The answer is tamari. There's negative areas on the brown block. Yeah. Correct. Well done. Filled with tamari. Yeah, they're all tamari. And they've filled in all over this thing. But the weird thing is just how dark they are. It gives you a much better indication of the pigment that they actually used. That might be really useful when mixing the colors. You can look at, that's the color we want to get in the bowl or on the brush, you know. Gonna sign off. Been up for nearly 24 hours. Need some Z's. Thanks for the stream. Thanks mods. There's no mods yet, but we'll get there eventually. See you ever next time. Take it easy, wheelchair. Yeah, we're gonna end soon, I think, as well, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's all tamari. So I'm gonna have a quite a tough time at trying to back engineer all this. Getting the right taste and stuff in there. It happened a bunch over here as well on the glove. A lot of these little dashes here, they look like dark lines. Kind of tricky to see. But if you look at the other glove, there's no extra lines on. So it's just, again, tamari. And there's also this area here. I'm convinced now that this will have to come off and that this will be just extra pattern. If we take those lines off, take them off the working too. I'm sure there's something funny going on here. It looks like it basically just smudged. I'm pretty sure it's probably something to do with the Baron knocking down and smudging black. And they've tried to fix it, perhaps, because there's some fudgy edges on it. I'll look at the other copies. But I think one of the other copies, they just carried on this pattern and they removed that whole section. So I'll have to make a decision there as well. There's also one other spot here that I'm going to have to make a decision on. All the other pads, they have a grey background, which is on the key block. And then the black block, they have these patterns. But this one is missing a whole section of it. One of the other samples, they match this, they copy the same one. They leave it out. I'm not so sure that's right. This one's done it as well. Yeah, they've all left it out. But it looks a little odd to me, if I'm honest. I can imagine it being all black, but being just completely removed seems odd. The precedent's set, though. I'll probably have to do it like this. Let's do a couple more kanji, and then I think we've got about 5 minutes left. And then hopefully next stream will be on some actual carving. Wait, next one Tuesday. The smoothers really help for getting these long stripes and stuff. But the delay on it is really quite frustrating when trying to do like tips and stuff of the lines. I think we'll probably leave it there, and we'll try and get. It's been an hour and a half. Yeah, I think we'll probably leave it there because drawing these kanji is really not that very interesting. I'll have more stuff to talk about and more news next time we are doing some real carving. That should be starting for me on Monday, hopefully, if everything's right. And then for this print, we have the blocks. I don't know if you can see them. If I tilt it down, you can. I still haven't opened it yet, but we have a box with a bunch of blocks down here. Just by the door there. That's all the wood blocks for this particular print we're working on now. And we'll be opening that box and pasting this down kind of shortly, hopefully. I don't think, on hindsight now, what I was talking about earlier, I don't think that's really going to be possible to wait until the UK to get this pasted down. Because I've only got about... We'll see. Maybe. I need to think about it a little bit more. Anyway, I'll put any updates and any interesting stuff coming up in the Discord. Please check it out. That's it for now. I'm not very good at these sign-off, so I'll leave it there. Let's see if we got a raid. Give me a second. Let's see if we can do a raid. The announcement channel is visible now. Oh my god, that was one. The thing is, Koringami had reacted to another message on that, so I think perhaps he was the only person who had it visible for him. I've been putting so many announcements in there, you know, like anytime a stream has been cancelled, you people think I'm just like completely irresponsible. So frustrating. Oh my god. Right. Yeah. So please keep an eye on the announcement channel. I could see it. What? I don't understand. I don't understand why some of you could see it, but most of you could not, I think. Thanks for the stream. Yeah, that's a sign to sign off. Let's see who's online. Anyone on the following? Have we got someone new we could follow maybe? Let's just go same category. Let's do a random. Let's do a random to see if we can find someone doing something new and interesting. It's making something. This is where I say, no, I can't find anyone. It's really... Someone's doing some pottery. Let's drop in there. Please be nice. I don't know anything about microwave kiln firing. Let's do that. Go say hello. Be nice. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. Farewell. Bye.